Joshua Schwartz, Travel Creel Hospitality, tying a Bahama, bonefish, Halloween pumpkin shrimp. My variation of the EP spawning shrimp, using some EP material, brush. I tied this before a Bahamas trip a couple years ago or a year ago. Just doing something different to throw in the box to have. And one of the guides was open. Most of those guides in Andros want to fish gotchas, and that's all they want to fish. And we did. We fished a lot of gotchas. And it was the last day, and I asked Eddie if I could throw this fly on, and he looked at it. He goes, "Yeah, man, that'll work." And we threw it out there, and we had fish turning around, turning on dimes to eat it. And we fished it for the day, and it got shredded. I had one more in my box, and I gave it to Eddie to use as a secret weapon if he was having a tough day. And I'm going back in January. Travel Creel's headed back to Andros for a couple weeks, and Eddie already asked me if I'd bring him a couple dozen of these. So now you know how to make it. Tiemco saltwater TMC 811S in size 6. 210 denier. Bright orange thread. We're going to attach that to the hook. Trim that off. Bring that all the way to right before the hook bend, then back forward, leaving a little bit of metal exposed right there. And then we're going to attach some bead chain eyes. We're going to use some orange bead chain eyes. Lock them in here. A couple more wraps over top. Shit's locked in. And then these saltwater flies, I like to just put just a tiny bit of flow on them, just right there, just to lock those eyes in nice. Okay, and then we'll start building our shrimp. I start with the antenna, and the antenna is this black pearl flash. I take a full one. I like to make the antennas really long. I'll trim them down once they're in, but I like to start really long so I can make them really long. Get that on the thread. Just lock it in. And then I usually bring it all the way to my vise. Trim that. Next step is a little orange flash, Xeon. Get a little tuft of it. Pull out any extra so it's all tied in nice. And I'll fold this over, so that's about as much as I want, and I'm going to fold it over. And I want that to hang off a good inch. Tie it right in the middle. Bring that thread all the way to the back. And then fold it over. Tie that in. Okay, now's when I add my eyes. So I'm going to talk about making eyes. All right, so you just burn. This is hard, 30-pound hard mono. Just burn it, and then while it's soft, you just touch it on something that makes it kind of have a little T on the end. I like to take a little Sharpie and color the end black. You can leave it so it has like a little pupil, but I like it to be all black. I like to slide both beads on, and I'm going to make these two eyes, a set of eyes with one piece of mono. So I slide both beads on, and then the first one, I take it, just add a little bit of flow until it's like balled up like that, a little drip, and then set it. And then I take the other side. Same thing. Make sure it's a flamingo lighter. Heat up the end until it's soft. Oh, that one got a little too hot. Okay, just like that. So it traps the bead on there. All right, so take my Sharpie, color the end of that little burnt part. Drip of glue. You got two eyes right there. Clip that right in the middle. So we're going to tie one eye on one side there. The other eye on the other side there. Sure, about the same length, both sides. Tie it right up to the end. And then just clip that little bit of mono off the back end. Now, as far as the eyes go, I usually adjust them after, but I just bend them out so they kind of separate a little bit. Kind of just stick my thumb there and just work them out like that. And I'll do it again after I'm done. Kind of bend that mono out a little bit. That's why I use this stiff mono. It really has memory and stays. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to tie some rubber legs in next. Use this kind of Halloween-y, pumpkin-y. This is originally called it the Halloween shrimp, but kind of calling it the pumpkin shrimp. Since we're around Thanksgiving now. We're just going to tie this in, put it over the thread. On one side, we'll have two little numbers, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Kind of start in the middle here. And when I'm tying in these rubber legs on these shrimp, I really like to stretch them at the end as I'm tying them in. Give it a, just locks them in. Just kind of stretch them as you tie them in. So you end up with this fan. There's like two on one side and two on the other. And then I'll trim these down a little bit. Now we have this cool looking little shrimpy. If you turn it this way, this is the way it rides in the water. Cool little, it almost looks like a shrimp like there. It looks like a little baby lobster or shrimp, but now we're going to add some brush on it to finish it up. And that's pretty much going to be it. So one more step left here. I like to use this EP woolly critter, 1/2 inch. This is white with green rubber legs in it, the chartreuse. So it's called EP woolly critter brush, 1/2 inch chartreuse and white. I mean, I bought this stuff not knowing what I was going to use it for, and this is what I ended up using it for, and it works. So we're going to tie that in about halfway, then bring the thread all the way back to where we started, right before the hook bend, and then bring our thread all the way back to the hook eye, to the bead chain. And then we'll palmer it. And I like to do a little bit of loose here because when the fly is wet and you get that little bit of orange showing through, it's kind of like shrimp shell. It has a little shrimp shell look to it. So it's kind of a sparse wrap there. And then right up into the bead chain, and then we'll tie it in. Give it a couple wraps, tie it in, and then pull everything towards the shank. Give it a couple wraps right there, just tighten it up, and then bring everything over to the front and build the head. All right, a little whip finish on it. Couple more just to seal the deal. Make sure it's nice and tight. Clip that. And we'll trim this piece off here. Glue it up. Look at how that thing glows with that light on. It's crazy. All those colors glow. Let's do doing that in the sun. No wonder these bonefish go crazy on this thing. It's like a neon critter. That's it. Whoop. That is the Halloween pumpkin shrimp.